Hi, I'm Damaris Jordan from Clark's Chapel Baptist Church in Thomaston, Georgia. I want to share with you an entry to my diary. Today's is Leave It Behind. The scripture reading is from Galatians 5:17. Walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. I don't know about you, but it's a real thing in my life. To struggle to know what I'd really like to be doing, or things that I would like to stop doing perhaps. And the struggle is just there. Sometimes you can go for a while and be victorious, and then all of a sudden it crops up against you again. But I want to share with you a particular instance that took me into thought about this. David and I were riding around the courthouse square in our hometown one day, and when he suddenly asked me, if God called you home right now, what would you be most happy to leave behind? It didn't take me but just a moment. I looked away, but then I turned back and I looked to him and said, this is the answer, the truth of what I gave him. Myself. David commented about me answering so quickly, but he felt the same way. I know my shortcomings. I know my acts of disrespect before God, me, myself as a Christian, against others. And I struggle sometimes with the same things over and over. I can so easily get caught up in my iPad, watching a TV program, sitting there when I know I have other things to do. Then I comment that I don't have enough time to get things done. True, sometimes I'm just tired from daily routine. Of course, when I was working, it was even more so, but like right now, we recently moved and still taking care of a lot of things that just getting settled into our home. But I use excuses to make it okay that I wasn't a good steward of my time. I eat the wrong things. I know that what isn't good for me, causing me to gain weight or to make me feel lazy or jittery, and doing bad things for my body and health. It's such a shame, isn't it, that we lose focus, we lose control. But I want to reward myself for having a hard day and create a good reason why I don't do well, or get that candy bar and eat it, or drink another cup of coffee, whatever it is that sometimes we overdo. There are so many more little everyday things that I should have the strength to overcome. These just touch the surface of what struggles there are in my flesh. We battle daily to win against the flesh and the nature of ourselves. We know what we're made of, and we're forever wanting to be satisfied. We know that there's a constant battle until we leave this old body and flesh behind us. That's why it was so easy to answer David that day. It was just an automatic answer of the truth. We seek pleasure always, even when we don't recognize it. It's the underlying pursuit. Our nature wants to be satisfied and entertained, to be catered to and have everything its way. That's why so much is changed in our world around us, and things that really don't have a lot of Christian value or moral value to make life designated to stay on the straight and narrow. We're entertained, and those things of entertainment sometimes bring across suggestions of things that just aren't the best for us every day. Our nature wants to be satisfied and entertained, to be catered to. We become obsessed with some things and form bad habits that can even cause harm to our bodies. We feed our minds things of the world and mold ourselves after those things instead of seeking God's wisdom for living. We spend way more time. I just told David the other day, getting up in the morning, I grabbed my iPad and I said, I should have been grabbing my Bible. And we become aware of these things. And what do we do about them? We want to name the bad habits of drinking, smoking, adultery, and other acts of sin of the flesh and point fingers at those who do those things because they seem worse than what we do every day by neglect. We want to keep the focus off ourselves because it isn't easy to know ourselves and see the need to change. Change is hard. Change is difficult. Even in the good things, it can still be very difficult. And yet, we would reap such benefits if we would just take the plunge. I want you to reflect about this. We're looking in the wrong places to be satisfied. This world will never offer what can fulfill us. Our flesh is not what can guide us to peace and contentment. No person can be the solution for someone else. To recognize our sin nature is the beginning of finding our freedom. Our freedom from this flesh gnawing at us and wanting the things that aren't best for us, and in some cases against God. To give ourselves up, surrender unto God, this identification with our flesh is the first step to finding the person God created us to be. We cannot do it on our own. We need God to help us overcome. He knew this of us. That's why his plan of salvation was given and why Jesus paid the price for us. Jesus is the only one that can bring us the peace in our life and the true joy that can help us overcome the desires of the flesh. I hope that you'll ponder on this and think about yourself. Even though I wrote this a while back, I'm still struggling. I know that it will last until I leave this world, but we can become better at overcoming if we'll just go to God and ask for his help, those things that we know we need to put aside. God is so faithful and he's so forgiving, and he'll help us if we just ask. God bless you. Let your light shine.